everyone, and welcome to the Spartan Sports Report. My name is Ronnie Wiley, and that's Clint Brown. Fran is unable to make it here today. And this is Kevin Cassidy, I love this title, the varsity high school wrestling coach. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so first year as a wrestling coach. You've been an assistant for how long?
I was the middle school head coach for 3 years, and this is my first year as the high school varsity coach.
Yeah, and you wrestled when you were a kid.
Yes, from 4th grade all the way through high school.
What got you into wrestling?
Oh man,
Was it professional wrestling?
I'm a physical kid.
Yeah.
You know, I was a physical kid growing up. I always liked running around, bouncing off the walls, as my mom called it.
Yeah.
Growing up with other physical kids,
Yeah.
all the way from 4 years old to growing up through high school. It's just, I feel like it's just one of those things that I enjoyed doing.
Yeah.
Just the physicality of it.
Yeah, yeah. And now that you are a coach, a lot different than obviously wrestling.
Oh yeah, for sure. Coaching's a lot different than being the athlete.
Yeah, yeah. What do you like about coaching?
What I like about coaching, the thing I like about coaching is when you get to teach a kid and it clicks in their head how to do something the correct way.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the right way, but the correct way.
Yeah.
And then watching that light bulb just pop up on their head
Yeah.
and a smile light up on their face, like, oh.
Yeah.
That's one
This
thing.
is how you do that.
That's the one thing I love about coaching is like, I get it now.
Right.
Is when a kid looks at you with that face and it's just, I get it now.
Yeah. Clinton, did you wrestle?
I wrestled as a youth. I didn't wrestle in high school. I wrestled through middle school.
Nice.
The thing that I picked up from wrestling was it teaches you so well how to overcome. Like when you're one-on-one with something and they're doing everything they can to keep you down, you're doing everything you can to get above it.
Yep.
It really does teach you like primal survival.
Yep.
And that's a great life skill that wrestling gave to me as
Yeah.
a youth. And it's great to see that you're passing that on to
never
youth
quit
now.
attitude.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah, yeah. And so you got a lot of guys that translate over wrestling over to MMA.
Yeah.
Of course, a little bit different. Obviously, wrestling, you don't want to give your back. MMA,
Right, for
you
sure.
do want to give your back.
Right. Jiu-jitsu is a lot different than wrestling for sure. Our assistant coach, John Lemon, he did a lot of MMA when he was younger and he's really good at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. So it's probably a little bit different where he's like, oh, give your back. Oh, no, don't.
Oh, no. Coach Lemon's a really good wrestling coach,
Yeah.
but wrestling does really translate to jiu-jitsu well and vice versa.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
Being
Very
a
good.
combat sport, as a lot of wrestling coaches call it.
Yeah, yeah. So, wrestling is something that you've been doing since 4th grade, and you have a child that I see on Facebook posts.
Yeah.
But he's a little bit younger, isn't he?
He'll be 6 in just
so
a few short days.
You got him going young.
Yep, and
Yeah.
he's doing great in the sport with our youth director down there at the youth program. Does really good with our youth, Ben Gossett and his wife Brittany. They got, what do they got? 55 kids in their youth program right now.
Golly.
Wow.
We're growing.
And you coordinate all that, correct?
I do not coordinate the youth. That
do
is
not?
that is all Ben and Brittany Gossett.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Wow. But you guys, I mean, how far does your reach go as a high school coach?
I am. See, what I do is I have, 6 through 12,
Yeah.
and then I just oversee what Ben does as a director for the youth.
Yeah, okay.
Is how I was told.
Yeah.
So
I think the difference here with feeder programs and wrestling is you don't teach scheme, you don't teach offensive play sets, defensive
Right.
play sets. You really have to meet the kid where they are, and
Yep.
it's hard to really say, "I want this." Like it's fundamental
sense,
stuff.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That makes
Don't
sense, yeah.
don't give your back up. Don't get
right.
on your back.
Sure.
So that individual meeting of the kid is really important in youth, but the benefits are huge at the varsity level
Sure.
when you've got a kid that's been brought up from 5, 6 years old.
Been wrestling for 10 or 15
Absolutely.
years,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's hard. You can't teach that if a kid hasn't.
Everything
been through
comes
that
second
program.
nature.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then once you get to that, like you said, getting the basics into the kids, get to stay off your back, keep moving,
Yep.
get up.
Leverage is
Yep,
huge in wrestling.
leverage.
Yeah.
Once you get those basics into it, it's middle school, the middle school years and the high school years, they come almost second nature.
Yeah. Yeah.
Muscle memory.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Is kids grow; they get different weight classes.
Yep.
A lot of times kids grow together. Sometimes they grow faster. How does how does that work with when it comes to picking a weight class? Does a kid pick a weight class, or do you just go by their natural body weight?
A lot of the times, I try to go by their natural body weight. But there are kids that compete for weight classes, and sometimes the kid will say, well, I've got to drop so-and-so weight to get to this weight class. And, I mean, that's all up to them as kids.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I want to go this weight class this year, or I want to go this weight class this year. But so there are times you might have a wrestler that's more experienced, I'll say, and I'll want him at a certain weight class because I know he's going to get really good mat time, you know. But at the high school level, you're always going to get good mat time.
Right.
Always going to get good mat time, especially around here in our conference and our sectionals.
Yeah. Now, what do you mean by mat time?
Just live matches.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
matches that count towards your record and your season. Just going out there and 100%.
So if you have a team, and let's say you have 3 heavyweights, and you're up against a conference foe that has 4,
Right.
then one of their wrestlers might not wrestle.
Only one of their heavyweights can wrestle.
Oh, only one.
Yeah, you can only have one weight class wrestle, or
okay.
one wrestler in each. I'll say this: you can have up to 3 wrestlers in each weight class, but only one wrestler can be the varsity wrestler.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you have
I have 14 kids, 14 weight classes open for varsity spots.
That's amazing how many weight classes you have.
14, and then once you get to college, it goes to 10.
Okay, so it goes
down.
So it's a lot.
Yep, it
lot more.
condenses.
Yeah. Wow.
The way that I understand it is you got the 14 varsity wrestlers.
Yep.
They're the ones who determine the winner-loser match, right?
Yep.
And then if the other team has enough, then there's some matches
Exhibitions,
afterwards.
JV
right?
matches, yeah. And then also if
Do they count towards records?
not a sectional record.
No, okay.
Or conference record.
Okay.
But if they wrestle off for their position,
Yeah.
it's always the best wrestler is the varsity wrestler.
Right.
It's always the best wrestler is the varsity wrestler because it's that wrestler versus that wrestler for a varsity spot.
Right.
And that's great to have that competition.
Yeah.
You want your locker room to be full of competition.
Right. Yeah.
Keeps guys hungry.
Kind of like with tennis, because
Yeah.
tennis has that competition where
Yeah.
you're playing for seeding.
Yep, you have to play
And
for your.
wrestling, same thing.
You have to wrestle for your varsity spot
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about wrestling. It's your skill has to prove your worth.
Right. It's not you.
It's not even your hard work. You could
Yeah, right.
outwork. You could have all the talent in the room, but you can get outworked by a hardworking kid.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes hard work does beat talent,
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
especially
That's
in
very
wrestling.
true.
Heart and
Yeah.
grit will beat talent too. I've seen
Yeah.
it happen many
Yeah.
times.
Yeah. Very, very true. You know, that's something that people overlook.
It is.
Is that that hard work, that determination, that taking that little bit of skill.
Yep.
You know, and I'm sure you've seen it a lot.
Oh yeah, see it all the time.
In single sports, and especially combat sports, you look for the kid that has that just edge, that
Yeah.
sharp edge,
That
of,
drive.
I'm not going to quit.
Yeah.
And you got to have that.
Sure.
You can have a kid in a sport for 15 years, and then another kid moved to town that's just got that edge.
That
Right.
just wants to compete.
Absolutely.
That's
You
just
just
hungry
can't take
for
it out of them.
competition.
Yeah.
And
But
that's
that makes a healthy program.
those are
a
the
really healthy
those are the
program.
kind of kids wrestling coaches look for. Is just hungry for competition.
Yeah.
Just wants to get out there and do it.
Yeah. Well, first off, what's your guys' record so far?
Our record so far right now, I do believe, is 6-15.
Okay. So you guys have obviously the EIAC, and
Yep.
who's your sectional opponents?
Our sectional opponents, man. Honestly, I don't even know if I could tell you that, Ronnie.
Yeah, that's all right.
I could. I don't know if I could.
Yeah.
I know our conference opponents: Batesville,
well, yeah,
East
of course,
Central,
yeah,
Lawrenceburg.
Yeah.
All of them. We have conference this weekend,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah, we
section.
were talking about what question we had before you got here. Something.
Yeah, is
like,
it kind of like the Spartan Classic open format where
Yeah.
you got a bunch of
Yes.
teams at one location?
Yep,
and-
we got all of our conference teams that's going to South Dearborn this weekend, and then it's kind of like a bracketed tournament.
Okay.
That's what those are called, are bracketed tournaments.
Okay.
So you guys can wrestle more than one match?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. And so how does that count against the record?
Once we get to conference, there's nothing after conference. It's sectionals.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay. All
Once
right.
once our conference is done, we go straight into sectionals in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
it's like, so you know how basketball has their drawing,
Yeah.
their sectional drawing? We
Yeah.
have seating meetings.
Okay.
So what we do is we go through our record books of our rosters, and we go through and, okay, our kids defeated this kid from our conference, or our kids defeated this kid from our conference, and or your kids defeated my kid
Right.
at this time or this time, or my kids defeated this kid that your kid beat, but your kid beat my kid.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll go
Styles make matchups.
right. Yep, and that's what we'll do. We do head-to-head criteria for kids that have wrestled each other in our conference, and then we'll seed them from there.
Do you guys watch film on other wrestlers?
We do watch film sometimes. Yes.
Yeah. Good. Probably
I think
good.
with the development of technology, that's something that hard to turn down at any coaching position is
Right.
if you can see the opponent and get them on tape, obviously a benefit. And the other thing that caught my attention, you have conference Saturday, right, 18th?
Yes, Saturday.
Then sectional is February 1st. Is that correct?
Is that 2 weeks after the 18th?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Then
that is
sectional is
2 weeks.
February 1st.
So there, to me, I see a huge benefit of that elevated competition
Right.
level.
Yeah, right. Going
Right.
to sectional.
And
yeah.
then a lot of our conference teams are in our sectionals.
Right, yeah.
So
Some familiarity there. And
once you wrestle section or conference, you will more than likely have wrestled the kids you've wrestled at
Sure.
conference
So
at
you're familiar
sectionals.
with them.
Right, and then you
Yeah.
have a whole 2 weeks to get ready for that kid again.
To know.
on the flip side of that,
Have
they've
2
got
weeks
2 weeks to
they're-
get ready for you as well.
Yeah.
And that's
So-
why I
yeah.
preach. You gotta, when you're down here, every opportunity you get down here and work hard.
And this year, and I don't know if this is the first year or not, but I know this year there's a girls team.
Yes.
Is this the first year for an individual girls
This
team?
is our first year for a sanctioned IHSAA girls team.
And you just have one wrestler.
We had one wrestler this year, and she wrestled fairly well for only wrestling for 2 years. She was a
Well, that's
senior
good.
this year.
And what's
So
her name?
Her name is Abby Jones.
Abby-
Abigail Jones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Jenny's daughter, I believe, right?
Yeah.
No,
No, not
no,
Jen.
not Jenny's daughter.
Oh.
She's from up in Indianapolis.
Okay,
She moved
okay.
here.
Yeah. That would have been Jenny's granddaughter, wouldn't it?
No relation.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
no,
recalling
yeah.
some sort of
Yeah.
wrestling thing maybe a couple years ago.
Audrey Turley, Jenny Jones's
Yeah.
granddaughter.
Okay,
did
yeah, I
wrestle.
remember that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say,
who
yeah,
I was
the-
thinking of.
Yeah.
But that was a struggle, if I remember right.
Yes.
And unfortunately, we've seen that across the board,
Yep.
trying to get women's sports in high school and get them associated, included, and that's great.
Yeah.
That is great. If you got a girl that wants to come out and wrestle, let her come out and wrestle. Let's make that happen.
Yeah, sure. Which
I know
are-
Franklin County has a program.
But they have
They
a
have
separate program.
They
right?
have 6 wrestlers. Yes,
Yeah, I was going to say their girls program is,
their girls and boys are both separate. Yes.
Yeah.
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 Are you
Unless-
seeing more of that? More teams in conference and around here pick up the girls wrestling teams?
Well, this is the first year. I think this is the first year for it in Indiana
Okay.
for IHSA officially, because this was the first inaugural girls sectional this year.
I gotcha. So prior to this, it's just if a girl can get
It
on
was
the-
co-ed.
Gotcha.
It was co-ed.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, that's good. Good for them.
Yeah.
Which
So
we still have a couple girls from, I want to say, our regional that wrestle in the boys state series.
Oh,
Which
boy.
Heather
Wow.
Kroll and Olivia Kroll. They're both wrestling in the state series.
Nice.
they're still wrestling boys.
Yep.
I don't know if I'd want to do that.
Heather,
Especially if you get beat.
Heather Kroll, she is a international and national podium placer
Wow.
for freestyle
I'd
wrestling.
imagine that is tough
Yeah.
for the boy to swallow.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Well, it'd be tough to. I'd want to be easy on.
I've seen her hurt a lot of boys' feelings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I bet
yeah.
so.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, I was raised this way. If you want it and you ask for it,
She's out there.
You're
the
gonna
same,
deal with
she's
it,
out
so,
there the same reason they
absolutely.
are, and that's
Yeah,
she
that's
understands that 100%.
that's awesome.
And
Yeah.
she gets after it too. She
Good.
is not afraid.
And hopefully, it's other girls will see that and say, hey, she did it. It's possible. I want to go. I
Oh,
want
she
to go
is
try
such
this.
she is such an inspiration to the girls and around here in this community and communities surrounding
Yeah.
us.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
incredible what she's doing
Yeah.
for
Good
girls
for her.
wrestling.
But hopefully
in
you
our
can build
area.
that program up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and you'll be the coach of that as well.
Which for the time being, yes.
Yeah.
For the time
So
being,
the
yes.
idea would be obviously to maybe have a girls.
Maybe in the future.
Yeah.
In the future, yes.
girl meeting.
I would.
Will they
I
have
would say-
14? They
They-
won't have 14 weight
I
classes.
think
will
they do have 14 weight
They will-
classes.
wow.
It would be identical, I believe. wouldn't
Yes,
it?
the pot-
and rules and stuff
The
for that matter.
the rules are identical. Yes, we could potentially have, if we filled every spot on both wrestling teams, we could have 84 wrestlers in our wrestling room at one time,
Holy
Wow.
cow!
Wow.
which is a very small area and a very
Yeah,
small
yeah.
space.
That's the other thing I was going to ask about. I've seen Facebook, hey, we'd like to get new mats. I believe you have same mats for quite a while. Is that
We
correct?
just got a new mat 2 years ago.
Okay.
Actually, it was 3 years ago. My first year as the middle school coach, we got a new Velcro mat.
Okay.
And then we did get it when Mac was the coach here. He got a new mat, I want to say 1 or 2 years into his
Okay.
coaching. And then I think we're getting a new mat by the end of this season.
Okay. Now, when you get that equipment, is that high school funded? I'm sure you guys do fundraisers for equipment.
do a
and
lot of
whatnot.
fundraisers,
What are
yes.
some fundraisers that the public could help if they wanted to help the wrestling program?
So we do a fundraiser at the beginning of our season every year. Usually it's cookie dough or popcorn, or we do trash bags some years.
Now you're speaking me and Ron's language.
Right.
Yeah,
You know.
cookie dough and popcorn, not trash bags.
We try to sell a lot of cookie dough and popcorn and trash bags just to raise funds for stuff like that. But we also had a spaghetti dinner.
Okay.
We had
that's another.
Yeah.
We had a spaghetti
I'm
dinner.
not sure why we didn't know this
Yeah,
and why we
we
weren't
should-
invited.
we
We'll
should
have
know
to
about
fix
this.
that after the show.
we had a spaghetti dinner on the 20th during that quadruple header against South Dearborn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
very
Awesome.
good. Coach
Yeah.
Lemon's
Thanks for
brother,
letting us know.
Coach Lemon's brother, Mark Huffman, catered the whole event, and
Oh, yeah,
it was
yeah.
great.
Huffman's good.
Oh,
They
he
do
made
that.
some
He
great
does a
spaghetti.
very good catering
Yes.
job.
It was awesome spaghetti.
Before we get,
And then Daniel Girls, they donated every single dessert and made every single dessert for the spaghetti dinner.
now you're
Nice.
making me hungry, Kevin. You're making me hungry.
Talk
And
about
thanks
a
for watching the
caramel-filled
show.
brownie.
We're going to go eat now.
Wow.
Before we get you Notre Dame fans talking about food getting me hungry, we got to start talking about some scores over
Yeah,
the break.
sure.
CHS boys varsity basketball at Richmond, they lost 44-35 back on December 21st. And on December 27th, the boys played in the Raider Holiday Tournament where they won over Hobart 54-44, but lost to South Bend, Washington 74-36, and to Harrison 71-50. Coming back after the break, the Spartans boys beat Oldenburg Academy 44-36 at the Bowl on January 3rd. But of course, they fell to Newcastle the other night in a hard-fought game on the 11th, 56-47. They're going to be playing Seton Catholic this Wednesday at the Bowl, starting at 7:30. The CHS girls varsity basketball has been very busy over the break with a win over Marion, 60-44, on December 27th in the RHS KC. I can't even pronounce that last name. Can you? Poland's tournament held at Richmond, where they also lost to Richmond 56-52 and beat Charleston 50-46. The girls next played on January 4th at Greenfield Central, where they came away with a close victory, 53-50.
Wow.
The girls next play at Richmond on January. Yeah, it was. Girls play at Richmond on January 14th. We'll have that game here on TV3. Oh no, we won't at Richmond. We'll have the game at Franklin County, or here at Franklin County, on the 17th, which is this coming Friday. The CHS boys JV team was also in action over the break, with the boys winning 54-39 over Lafayette Harrison. 52-45 over Harrison High School, and 66-15 over Oldenburg. The boys also defeated Newcastle last weekend, 46-36 at the Bowl. The JV girls only saw one game over the break, and that was January 4th against Greenfield Central, where they lost 31-28. See how they put the number 31 first?
I see what you're doing there.
They will be in action, the JV, at Richmond on Tuesday, and at home against Franklin County this coming Friday. Again, we'll be at the Oldenburg game. We will hear TV3 on Wednesday, and also at the girls game.
Friday, yeah.
Friday. So
Seton Catholic, I think.
Seton Catholic.
Yes.
Yeah, what did I say? Oldenburg. Yeah,
Yep.
Seton Catholic. Also over the break, the CHS diving team scored second place in the CHS Invitational, competing against East Central, who came in first, Centerville, who placed third, and Richmond, who came in fourth place. The CHS swim team also participated and placed third overall, with East Central taking first, Centerville second, and Hagerstown fourth, Richmond fifth, and Seton Catholic placing sixth. Other sports this week: CHS varsity gymnastics this Tuesday at home versus Newcastle and New Palestine. Boys varsity wrestling with our guy right here, Kevin, away at Hagerstown this Wednesday, starting at 6 p.m.
That is actually home.
Oh, it's home.
That is home in the field house, and it is senior night.
Home at the field house, and it is senior
Awesome.
night. So check that out at home at the field house. What is the admission on that?
I want to say it's $6.
$6. If you have an all events pass, you get them for free.
Yep.
Wednesday starting at 6 p.m. Gymnastics will then be away at Rushville on Thursday, starting at 6:30 p.m. And that catches you up for what we did on the break and what we got coming up. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So again, you guys got one coming up at Hagerstown.
Hagerstown.
You're preparing for that.
And conference this Saturday.
This
Yeah.
Saturday, and
So you
then
guys got a busy
sectionals in 2 weeks.
Yeah. We did cover the game on Friday, the
Yes, we
Newcastle
did.
game. We got a little bit of highlights. We were there at that game. As you see the opening as the boys get ready. I love the opening.
Can't beat it.
Yeah.
Can't beat it. That's one of the best openings in high school basketball.
It is the absolute best. As Connersville got off to a 2-0 lead right there, and then right there 8-2. We just couldn't find our rhythm as McHenry hit that three to cut it to 3, but they went on that run.
It was hard for Connersville in the first half to get anything going with any consistency. Newcastle just did a great job defensively.
Yeah,
They
it was 11-7, and it was right there 28-7.
Yes.
So they went on a huge
Wow.
run.
Yes, Landon
Yeah.
Thompson and the Miller kid. They
Mason
couldn't miss
Miller.
in the first half, and they really made it hard to come back.
They were so on
Connersville-
fire, we got sunburned.
Absolutely, and their free throw shooting. We talk
Yeah.
about it all the time. So first half, rough for the Spartans. Couldn't get anything going. We talked about it at halftime. They're going to have to find some fight if they want to come out and make
Yeah.
this a game.
Yeah.
And then, we see it when they come out of halftime in the third quarter. They
Yeah.
come out fighting.
They came out fighting and hitting their shots, whereas the first half they were not making their shots. The lid was closed, and here Hunter Allen he started getting on fire.
Yes, Hunter Allen played a great second half. A lot of team movement, good
Yes.
screens, ball movement.
Right there, look at that one.
Yes, good cuts. They were playing team ball, and they were
Yes, they
fighting
were.
for each other, and that was the difference in the second half.
This step away three from Peterson was, sparking it, which got it to 10 right there, and he wasn't done as Hunter hits another three.
It's like his brother playing basketball.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, the second half, it was a night and day difference. First half,
Yeah,
they couldn't
very
buy
much.
one. Second half, just shooting percentage was through the roof.
There's
That looks
Maddox
good. Yeah.
cutting it to 7. That's the closest they got. Right there was 7, and then all of a sudden the little mistakes came in, and then the free throws.
Yeah, when we started fouling,
Ooh, look at that steal. That's great.
That was
Great steal by
He had a
Jaden.
couple of those tonight.
but
or
yeah,
that night.
when it got to be later in the game and we started having to foul, they were finding this Mason Miller kid and Landon Thompson.
Yeah.
And those are two kids you just don't want to
Yeah,
foul.
they
They
were
made you
making-
pay.
Yeah. And what was crazy is that Mason Miller had 4 fouls at
Yeah.
the middle of the third quarter.
Yeah.
We
And
didn't
made
think-
it the rest of the
yeah,
game.
Yeah, we did not think they took him out. We didn't think he was going to start the fourth. He did start the fourth
Yeah.
and stayed the whole.
Made
and
the whole quarter.
He did not get his 5th
Man,
foul.
brought it within 9.
Yeah, they brought it within 9. But
crazy.
being down 21 early in the third quarter,
Yeah.
I thought, oh geez, because
Yeah.
they didn't stop missing.
No, and
Did
if
he?
you would have watched the first half
Yeah.
and then seen the score in the third quarter, you'd have thought there's no way.
Yeah,
Because
right.
this team it was a different team that came out in the
Totally
second
different
half.
team.
From what I saw, if they come out playing the same way they played in the first half,
Yeah.
they did the
Yes.
second half,
Yeah.
they win that basketball game.
And we talked
Exactly.
about that.
Yeah.
If Newcastle played Richmond the night before, so they're in that competitive.
Yep.
They just played
And they
with
beat
that
Richmond.
edge. They
Yeah.
beat Richmond, had some confidence. We all were on a week break, and it was what are these kids going to show up and do tonight? And they just didn't show up ready in the first half, and
got ready
ultimately
second
couldn't
half.
overcome the mountain. So
Yeah, yeah, and I'm sure that happens with.
It does
with-
happen in
with you
wrestling.
guys.
Yeah.
It does happen in wrestling. When you go to like a dual tournament, when there's 5 teams at this tournament, when you wrestle, each team wrestles every other team there.
Yeah.
You start off slow in the morning sometimes, and then you don't pick up and find your pace until middle of the day,
Yeah.
towards later in the afternoon,
Yeah.
and then
Make that one mental mistake
Yep.
that costs you the match.
and you,
Yeah.
it's one mental mistake. You
Yeah.
stop if you just
Yeah.
hesitate.
Yeah.
You get in on a shot and you hesitate, they can make you pay for it.
Yeah.
100%.
And at the end of the day, something I've noticed is these are still kids.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of community pressure. The community wants to see them do well, but kids are kids. They're going to
Yeah.
have a break. They're going to be a little bit slow coming back
Yep.
in. Sometimes you got to kick them in the butt to get them going.
For sure.
And that's common, but it's how you respond. You
Yeah.
got to know when you're doing it. The coach has got to see it, and you got to respond well.
Yeah.
That's a big thing.
And I thought they responded well. The way that they came out the second half there, and Mitchell Steele, his play was phenomenal.
Defense in the second
Yeah,
half
his
was just
defense
shut
was-
down,
yeah.
lockdown defense.
Yeah, he was incredible the way that he he toughened
Yeah,
them up.
It almost looked like wrestling. You would have enjoyed the
Yeah,
matchup.
yeah.
It was a lot of big body and inside.
I do like big body on the inside of that
It,
play.
it was it was a tough matchup in the second half.
Yeah. You played other sports as a kid.
Yes, I did.
You know, I remember.
Yep.
And obviously wrestling. It's a singular sport, but a team sport at the same time.
100%.
What other sports do your wrestlers play, if they play any?
I've got a lot of football players.
I figured that would be kind of a natural.
I got a lot of baseball players,
Yeah.
which I played baseball
Yeah, I
growing up
remember.
all through
Yeah.
my youth and high school, and then soccer players.
Yeah.
A wrestling coach loves soccer players.
Now, why is that?
Gas
Cardio.
tanks. Gas tanks.
Oh, I guess so.
Cardio.
Yeah, I guess so,
Cardio
yeah.
is
No quit.
outstanding.
There is no
You never
quit.
thought about it. Yeah.
I have my 120 pounder, Hunter Smith. He plays soccer. He's a freshman. Not an ounce of quitting that kid.
Yeah.
And I truly believe it's because he plays soccer.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I remember his brother.
It's all game. You're running all game. The cardio shape. All my girls play soccer. My oldest, she plays on the varsity team, and about 5 minutes in, I'm sitting here like, God, I'm tired watching, and these kids just all
Yep.
day. all game,
Is that Heather
all game.
James's Hunter?
That's Finn.
Okay, Finn. Yeah, that's right.
Finnegan.
I thought about that when I said that. Yeah.
Finnegan,
Yeah,
Finnegan Smith. He's my 113 pounder. He also does not have an ounce of quit in him.
I was going
either.
to say, because I know his brother played
You
soccer.
know,
Yeah,
and the
Riley.
other thing,
Yeah.
people may not think about this that aren't familiar with the sport, but when you look at wrestling, soccer, baseball, the hand-eye coordination,
Yep.
the balance,
Yeah.
those are all things that are important in wrestling.
Right, absolutely.
And even when the kids are out of season playing these other sports, the skills they're learning can
Yep.
still equate and translate well to wrestling. So
Sure.
good for them to get out, right?
Yeah.
As
Well,
a
when
coach,
you-
you're like, yeah, go play.
When you talk about that split second, you think about baseball, you get that split second to decide whether you're going to hit that pitch or not.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whether you're going to shoot that shot or
Yeah.
throw that headlock.
Yeah.
You know,
It's all the
Right.
same. Your
Yeah.
brain has to fire, and your
Yeah.
body has to follow.
full
So
send. You either send it or you don't.
Yeah.
That's kind of how Notre Dame football plays.
Yep.
So
I love Notre Dame football.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, we have a bet. We're going to talk about it right now.
I don't think I'm involved in that bet.
Well, no, you do, because you
gotta sign as a
By
witness.
chance,
Okay.
if by chance,
Excuse me.
by chance, Notre Dame happens to beat Ohio State, which
Which is likely.
by chance,
Highly
unlikely, you're going to let me borrow that Notre Dame.
Oh yeah, I'll let you borrow
Hockey.
my hockey,
You're gonna look
hockey
great
sweater.
in it, Ron.
Yeah,
I'm excited for
I'm
it.
not. It's not going to happen.
I want you to
So-
get used to seeing this color of green more and more because
Yeah.
it's going to be plastered
That's-
all over.
that's
the
why I
place.
wore this
What do you
green
mean
today.
green? What do you mean green?
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's not green.
We're
That's
talking
right.
about green. There's no green behind.
Yeah, no green.
No. Anyway, if Ohio State wins, this guy over here's got to wear a Ohio State shirt during that basketball game, and I got to wear his hockey.
Oh, this is at the basketball game.
we're gonna
Yeah, we gotta wear it on TV.
Okay,
Yeah,
I like that.
It's-
Oh, okay, live and on TV.
live and on TV. We'll be live
Oh, live on both. Even
Yeah,
better.
it's just-
Ooh.
during the podcast.
It's a good thing I don't have to worry about it. But if I
Yeah.
did have to worry about it,
Well,
I'll get
He
that. I'll
does.
get that hockey jersey.
yeah,
washed
iron
for
it,
you.
press it
Yeah,
out.
I'll get it
you won't
washed
have to
for
worry
you.
about it. You don't have
Get
to
it
worry
dry
about
cleaned and
Yeah, Brooke won't have to worry about
Starch,
it. Yeah,
you
you'll
know.
do it. You make Brooke do it.
oh, that's,
He'll ask very nicely
I'll
as
ask
well.
her very nice.
Yeah, ask her very nice. See, Uncle Ronnie wants you to put
Yeah.
wash this uniform for. Okay, well, no. Anyway, yeah, these are two Notre Dame
Yeah,
fans. And,
yeah.
and then John keeps calling him Ohio. It's Ohio State.
Yeah,
What's wrong with you people?
it's just, Ron, you got to learn. It's just they're not that relevant, so people don't know the details.
No.
It's
Honestly
Notre Dame
though,
country.
honestly though, for Ohio State's coach, I think this game's make or break for Ryan Day.
I do
I
too.
think so, too.
A lot on the line for
I
him.
know. If he doesn't win, he may be out the door, and we'll get Freeman.
On the other hand, Marcus
Ooh,
Freeman's
easy.
trending up.
Easy,
Freeman's
Ronnie.
Freeman's an Ohio State
Freeman's
boy.
trending
I heard
up.
Chicago's looking into Freeman right now.
Yeah, I think so too.
The Bears.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That made me a little bit more uncomfortable.
Yeah, but if Day gets out of there, we're going to make.
I saw
Freeman.
that earlier on
Since
ESPN.
Vrabel-
I said,
oh,
no.
another Ohio State guy might go Vrabel.
Oh,
Anyway.
Vrabel's going to the
Vrabel's in
Patriots.
New England.
Yeah,
Well,
he's going to the
they talked.
Patriots.
I think there's a
Yeah,
sealed.
it's
Is it
sealed
finally
deal.
Sealed
Okay,
deal.
I was
He's head
wondering.
coach.
I was wondering. That does it. So thanks for.
I appreciate
for
you
coming,
guys for having me.
Kevin.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Good
it very
time.
much, Clint. Thanks for stepping in, and we'll catch you at the ball games this week. And you guys have a great week here on TV3. Thanks.